Magandang hapon everyone, I'm James Beltrano and I would like to begin by formally accepting my nomination for internal vice president. As of now, I will be completing my cultural chair term and will be going into my third year majoring in sports psychology. PAC has been a constant in my 2 years in college and my goal is to continue uplifting our community by being one of the club's leaders and representatives. PAC is heavily... by being one of the club's leaders and representatives. Wait, I already said that. PAC is heavily enriched with its community and the people are truly what makes the club special. Being a part of this cabinet this year has truly tested my appreciation and love for this club. Ever since my first year of joining, I was welcomed into a community that cherished its members so dearly and I wanted to be a part of that. To become someone who can share that enjoyment and bring them excitement and life-changing experiences. As internal vice president, it is important to ensure that our members feel comfortable within our club in every aspect. Furthermore, a safe and comfortable environment cannot be fulfilled without a strong foundation that starts with our cabinet. IVP works to guide and support the executive board and the rest of the cabinet throughout the year with any of their concerns, inner conflicts, and responsibilities. So most specifically with the new cabinet members that will be joining. Guiding these individuals and aiding them with tapping into their potentials will not only uplift the club's production, but also ensure that the enjoyment and passion for this club continues. While running for this position, I thought of all the responsibilities I would have to do, such as one-on-ones, planning PXF, handling ZTV cases, and overall being a voice of reason and a sergeant of arms to the executive board and the rest of the CAB. With further reflection, I realized that this year has taught me numerous things about the behind the scenes of the club, but most importantly, it showed me a lot about myself that I didn't see or value within myself before. While the main mission is to handle a beautiful community, to reach newer and brighter lengths towards our culture and sociability, the experience of being in cabinet also trains the new generation to become leaders and people who can uplift one another. I want to continue being a part of next year's cabinet to ensure that the future of PAC, who I may be sharing the room with now, can feel supported and assist them with reaching their said untapped potential the same way my fellow cabinet members helped me. I hope to continue building on a strong foundation that has been strengthening each year and maintain the culture this club has. Many may not realize the impact PAC has not only in the members' college lives, but with their identity within our Filipino culture. Preserving our Filipino roots, but also combining the culture of Filipino Americans is something that should always be shown throughout our work and motivations. As IVP, I want to be able to uplift each position's roles and to support the goals that they have, no matter how ambitious. The shared passion that Cabinet has is what strengthens bonds and creates successful events, but also teaches each member that they are part of something bigger than themselves. The position entails that there will inevitably be times where tough decisions will have to be made in which a strong e-board will really make a difference. I acknowledge that I not only address and assist the President with overseeing cabinet and other duties, but also have a deep understanding of when to lead and when to listen. A goal of mine is to uplift the voices of every cabinet member and ensure the pure collaboration between these individuals to solve problems as a team. Furthermore, I'm motivated to solidify the connections within cabinet and e-board. I want to create a space for people to feel comfortable to voice out their perspectives to me with their preferred way of check-ins and one-on-ones that I will provide. Disagreements and conflicts will always happen in a team, but what's important is to be able to stay cordial, open-minded, and address the situation maturely and professionally. I will present a strong layer of transparency, mediation, and impartiality in the event of a one-on-one or roundtable. Being a part of CAB provided an experience that left a strong impact on my life, and I would like to continue giving my passion to this line of work with enjoyment, but also seriousness that comes with it. The responsibilities of internal vice president is not something to underestimate. However, I feel confident in myself to be able to reach and improve my goals and dedicate time to becoming the best leader that I can if given the confidence to be picked or to be considered for this position. Thank you for listening.
All right, we're gonna start the Q&A portion. This is from Kevin. So Going from cultural chair to IVP is a drastically different position, thus calling for a different usage of skills in order to fit the demands of its responsibilities. What skills do you feel you will be able to translate over into IVP in your current position, and how do these apply? That's the first question. Or first part.
I feel that after learning the lengths of cultural chair, I think that one of the things that I learned the most was being more proactive as a leader, but also being more just open-minded to things. I think that because of just the natural like position of cultural chair, you are just that open-minded like pillar, that you are creating the space for everyone, not only like Filipinos, but like for other people to just embrace this culture. And I feel that that is an aspect of being a vice president and being a leader that really needs to be emphasized, so that you are continuing to create a space for all these people to feel comfortable, to feel welcomed, and to feel that they have a home within us. It is an important aspect from my cultural chair year to leading up to IVP year to continue again doing that same effect, but also maintaining these like connections and solidifying these connections so that they don't forget really again like what we do this for. And again, just staying like reliable and being there for these people is something that not only as culture chair but as a cabinet member, but overall as a leader, is something that I really qualify myself to be.
And then in addition, what skills do you feel you might not have had a chance to display yet that you would be excited to show us as IVP? And then, yeah, we'll just go with that one. Sorry, there's 3 parts. It's not fault.
I feel like some skills that I haven't been able to kind of show just yet as in my cultural chair year is just basically like how I can work behind the scenes and how I can really impact the behind the scenes like that. Being cultural chair this year, it puts you in a position where you're more out in the front, where a lot of these people really know who you are and what you do and like what your like mission is. But for IVP, again, it's more behind the scenes, it's more internal, it's more working towards working with the positions in cabinet itself and working towards like the inner parts of our club that really is like overshadowed in some ways. So continuing on with like that, I do present like the skills of being someone who can create that safe space for people to talk to, and has notably like given like these people a good set of like guidance and a good set of advice when needed be. I think that is something that I haven't really been able to do, aside from showing the culture and teaching these people that the culture is something that they shouldn't be afraid of. And I feel like for IVP, they shouldn't be afraid of opening up, and they shouldn't be afraid of speaking up, because overall that is what the internal vice president position entails, is for these people to voice out their opinions, because they matter. Each single person in this club matters in their own significant way, and they shouldn't ever like feel that they are not supported or they are not seen. And overall, I can't guarantee that I can get to everyone in that type of effect, but knowing that people feel more comfortable coming up to me with anything like that is something that I feel comfortable that I can do for them this coming year.
And then the last part, what skills do you know you need to work on still in order to be the most successful IVP you can be?
I think some skills that I definitely need to work on is just quick thinking and being able to adapt to situations where there might not be an easy solution to. I think that being a part of cabinet this year has taught me that no event will ever go as planned, and there will always be things that happen, or always be things that like will affect the event. But overall, I think keeping that under wraps and being able to make quicker decisions efficiently is something that I need to become a lot more better at as a leader, but also as IVP, so then I can support these positions, events, and guide them through like their events, so that they're not freaking out, or in the case where like things just go south, we can still bring that up and bring that energy back up in the case that like something does happen to them. And overall, being that source of guidance for people is something that, again, my position does, and it's important that I can be more adaptable and improve within my own quick thinking stick skills, so then I can help these people with their events and anything that they need support with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this one's for me. So, bring up a situation where you had to be confrontational and how you handled it, and how do you plan to use these skills for your position?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yeah. Bring up a situation where you had to be confrontational and how you handled it, and how do you plan to use these skills in this position?
I think one notable thing for me that I became more confrontational at was the things that happened at P-Town. I think that after the events of what happened at P-Town, I became just super into myself, kind of like regretting like certain things and stuff like that. But I think one thing that I really did differently was go to my just go to resources such as IVP and like my co and other cabinet members to kind of get what their opinions were, and to also like kind of guide me through my own emotions and getting me level-headed. I think that again is something that I did to, one, because I really do care about my position and like in the event and overall like improving the club. So using that step to create an opportunity for me to fix something about the club or to improve something about the club is something that I really want to emphasize for next year as well. And because of that, I've become more confrontational. I've become more open to speaking my mind to other CAB members about like the things I worry about or any concerns that I have for next year and this year. That it really made me realize that it is okay to voice out your opinions, because my opinions still matter. There's a reason why I was chosen for my position, and no matter what, that is like my opinion is still very, very important, especially for like, in the case of like it was my event and that I had a say to what I felt and what needed to be better and what needed to be improved.
Thank you. And then the next question is going to come from Saf. So, how would you lead people that you are friends with? Do you think you're able to hold them accountable to the same extent as those who you are less close with?
Can you repeat that one?
Yeah. How would you lead people that you are friends with? And do you think you are able to hold them accountable to the same extent as to those who you are less close with?
Yes, I can hold them accountable just the same way. I think that within this job and within e-board and within being a leader, you need to know when to be professional and separate your professional life with your personal life. I think that, yes, I have a lot of friends in PAC, and there's a lot of them that obviously I care for, like in my personal life, but at the same time, if I know when to be proactive and if they're doing something that is not right, or if they're doing something like stupid or anything like that, like I will know when to go up to them and say, hey, you can't do that. Or if there's a case that like anything happened, I still will hold them to the same degree because they are a GEM member going to an event, rather than like they're my friend going to an event. That is what I'm going to see. And no matter what, they should already know how to be presentable in that type of way. But at the same time, that is like, it is not my job to, and my responsibility to kind of babysit them throughout anything. So at the end of the day, it's still my job to care about the club, care about my members, care about the cabinet, and know when to again, like, know the difference between my work and my personal life.
Okay. And then next question. Oh, I'm not here anymore. Okay, next question is coming from Noah. How can you improve the planning side of PXF?
The planning side for PXF, I've already talked to like potential PCN cores as well, and just like other people with PCN board to kind of like elaborate more on what like may have happened or like what may be better. I think for me, we should definitely emphasize having better planning sessions rather than like being so separate. The main thing is that PCN board and PAC have to do completely different things, and there's always going to be that hidden layer of difference that they're not going to understand. And it is not our job to alleviate that, but rather make it better in a way where more people are involved and more communication is thoroughly planned. I think an idea that I had was just making sure that for PXF planning itself, the people that matter the most in terms of the PXF event itself. So obviously the VPs, PCN codes, as well as archives, marketing, finance, our treasurer, our historian, our chair are all in the same session, or they are in a place where they know what they're doing, and they're the ones that have like the first line of communication between everything. Because as for me, who has planned an event, I've just always like kind of like I realized that like we can delegate positions, like jobs, and we can delegate like these things and stuff like that. That's completely okay, but it is not okay for some like of the bigger players in an event to not know anything or to know stuff last minute. And also again, a big emphasis on communication, because no communication should fall out between both sides, between board and CAB, so that clear understanding is there. PXF is one of our biggest events of the year, and it's not something that is easily planned. But if including more people, and including again the people that have a lot to do for PXF, it'll be a lot more smoother, and that communication can become more thorough and a lot stronger.
Alright, and then next question from Tyler. Yeah, you can say it.
Okay, what are some ways you're planning to support your fellow CAB members? Would you be able to identify when a CAB member is struggling, and how would you emphasize the fact that they can come to you for comfort?
I think for majority of supporting cabinet members, it's always going to be dependent on them. IVP is a resource that they can go to and feel comfortable to talk to, and for me to be able to do that is just continuing just check-ins. Check-ins is obviously like a set thing, but also like just checking up on someone always like, it doesn't matter whether or not it's leading up to their event or there's no event at all. I think just being that person to check up on these people, no matter what it is, or no matter what time it is, or no matter like where I see any of them at, it's just checking up with them and being very, very like transparent, like, hey, like, is like anything wrong or just anything like that. Because more than likely, there will be times where some members are not going to feel as comfortable to talk to, and they will have their own support systems too. But in a CAB sense, I will always present myself to be there. It doesn't matter what time, it doesn't matter like when it is going to happen. Knowing that IVP is a resource for these people to have is something that I will always emphasize with anything that we are doing. I think that again, they will always have their own support systems, but emphasizing that I can also be that support system for them when they need to is something that I always like get